Welcome to the Omnibus Show, a program for people who are interested in everything with deep conversations on a wide variety of subjects. And now your host, Dave Gibbs.
Hello and welcome to this episode of the Omnibus Show, the program for people who are interested in everything with deep conversations on a wide variety of subjects. Today I'd like to welcome today's guests, Ashley Ulbricht and Blair Clark, who are representing the new Carmel Jazz Festival, which will be held in a number of venues across Carmel on August 11th and 12th. Ashley is an attorney with the Taft Law Firm, and prior to that, she was the city attorney for the city of Carmel and general counsel to the Carmel Redevelopment Commission. She is also a violinist and backup vocalist for Six Figures. Ashley is the board president of the Carmel Jazz Festival. And Blair is a musical entrepreneur, and he is the executive director and founder of the Carmel Jazz Festival. Welcome, Ashley and Blair. Welcome. Good to have you here today.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah. Well, please tell us about the new Carmel Jazz Festival and how it came to be.
Well, I had been thinking about it for a while, and at one point I approached the mayor about the opportunity. And one of the things that Ashley and I both, and the mayor, realized that we have some great state-of-the-art places to perform right in this stretch between Main Street and the Gazebo, and with the Tarkington, the Studio Theater, the Palladium, Feinstein's, Carter Green, everything right in that great stretch. Great place to have a festival. Great place to have a jazz festival.
Oh, yeah.
So we got the green light, and as you probably know, our mayor is phenomenal about supporting the arts. So we're off to the races. And I got in touch with Ashley, who's a dear friend of mine, and know her love for music, and so we just started putting things together.
Fabulous. Would you like to add? Okay. And Ashley, is there anything you'd like to add to that?
Blair really summed that up well, but I would like to add, with my previous role as city attorney with Carmel, it's so important. I mean, any city can have a jazz festival, but why Indiana? Why now? The city of Carmel, through Mayor Brainerd's leadership roles, he's really concentrated on economic development and throughout his tenure, and music is his passion as well as ours. And to highlight the jazz festival with the world-renowned venues that he has put into not just fruition but reality is just it's a dream come true for both of us to be able to be in charge of this event.
Well, thank you, Ashley. Now, since this is a music festival, please tell us about your interest in music and how you've got involved in the festival.
Absolutely. So I need to fast forward, or I guess rewind, I should say, back to I started music at a very young age. And we'll get into that a little bit later in the podcast of why I feel it's important to have exposure to children to music. But I started playing violin classically when I was 4 years old.
Wow.
And the family story, I should say, is I was watching Sesame Street with my mom one day at home, and apparently there was an episode with children playing on Sesame Street. And according to my mother and father, they said that I'm like, Mommy, I want to play. And she's like, sure, okay, that's nice. And I guess I kept going at this to a point where she's like, okay, this is unusual that my 4-year-old daughter wants to do this. Let's see what we can do. And she, my mom was an artist and knew individuals at the Indiana University South Bend. And they happen to have a Suzuki program, which is it's geared towards younger children.
Towards younger children, yes.
Yes. So I started in that at 4, and my first instrument was actually this Cracker Jack box that they made. It's adorable. I found it many years later, and it's this literally Cracker Jack box with a paint handle, like a paint palette. When you stir the paint.
Correct.
And the palette's there, and they, made little lines on it to correspond to like fingering, and then the whole idea was to, to make you understand as a child that it's an instrument. You have to treat it well. You just don't throw it down, and so you learned about it without actually playing it, but you did so in a group setting, and it was a really neat philosophy. But anyways, enough about that. I just grew up with it. I mean, that's what I did, and I enjoyed it, and I played all the way up until college. And then I took a little hiatus, but I am now, long hiatus, but I'm now playing again. I'm exploring classical opportunities, as well as currently playing violin in a rock band called Six Figures.
Interesting. That's fabulous history. Well, thank you. Blair, you are a vocalist and musician, and you've recorded and you've performed all over the place. Can you tell us a little bit about your musical journey and how you came into, here in Carmel, because you also teach as well.
Yeah. Well, I started out, again, like kind of with Ashley, started out as a young, just all my family sang. Everybody in my family sang. And so Christmas was always wonderful because everybody harmonized and everybody sang. It was
that's
a lot of
great.
fun. And then eventually, I started singing professionally at 16. And I was playing with a blind keyboard player named Henry Butler. He's really big in New Orleans. He's passed away recently, but phenomenal artist. And he was going to Michigan State University, and I started playing with him at the Cave of the Candles and different places around MSU. And so I started there, and then I started playing with a family group. And, I never went to a prom or any of those things because every weekend I was performing. And eventually I ran away and joined the Army. And so the last 2 years of the Vietnam era, and played in the Army, singing "Praise the Lord" and "Pass the Ammunition." So I was doing that in the Army, and then when I got right before ETS, I was playing with a band, moonlighting with a band at the Cow House Hotel in Killeen, Texas. And they said, "Man, when you get out of the Army, man, you ought to come join with us." So I joined the band and traveled down the road with them, and I kept doing that all my life, and then eventually started my own business and coaching music and performing. And then I ended up in Santa Barbara, California, working with Preston Glass and Narada Michael Walden, and became a co-producer, writing songs with them and stuff like that. And so now when I'm not coaching, I'm producing. When I'm not doing that, I'm performing. When I'm not performing, I'm booking. My company owns Artist Development Company. We book for the city of Carmel and the city of Westfield and some other businesses. And the saga continues.
It does.
Yeah.
Now we've got the Carmel Jazz Festival.
Yes.
Well, that's fabulous. Now, I do have a question for both of you. Okay. And that is, talking about music, do you have a favorite jazz musician?
Ooh, that's a hard one.
You first.
Narrow down.
You first.
So I know Blair shares this one with me a little bit. George Benson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great guitarist.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, he's
Put him
great.
in there.
Absolutely. My favorite is Boney James.
Okay.
I love Boney James. I just love his
smooth
jazz flair. Great for so many different situations, and just invokes happiness when I hear him.
Yeah.
And I had the opportunity to recently watch him perform at the Palladium.
Well, that's great.
Probably 2 months ago he was here. So
My favorite would go a little further back because I'm a little older than Ashley. I would say
my
Is it Charlie Christian, maybe?
no, not that old. No, but I would say for me it would be first Nat King Cole, because a lot of people don't know that not only was Nat King Cole a phenomenal singer, but a phenomenal keyboard player,
Yes, he was.
pianist. So I would say Nat King Cole, and second would be Ella Fitzgerald, and then after that Mel Torme.
Okay.
Those are my three top jazz.
That's fabulous. even including popular music, any kind of popular music, I would say Nat King Cole.
Absolutely.
He's before my time, but he's my favorite male vocalist.
Oh, it's phenomenal.
Those classic jazz vocalists, like Ella Fitzgerald's the top. She's a queen. Sarah Vaughan and all of those that followed. And you've got more contemporary singers, but gosh, there's so many of them. But yeah, you're right. Ella's up there at the top. And then I play guitar myself, so I also like a lot of trumpet jazz, or saxophone.
I'm sax.
Yeah, and so guitar would be the two favorites of different eras would be Indiana's own Wes Montgomery,
Absolutely.
and
Yeah.
and also Pat Metheny, who's he's still with us and he's still playing. And then I discovered him somewhere. I was in school when I discovered Charlie Parker
Yeah.
and his saxophone. I just love his sound. And and also recently over here at the Palladium, I was blessed to see he's still around, Herb Alpert,
Yeah.
who had the Tijuana Brass, and he's still playing it. He's almost 90 years old. He's still recording.
I had a chance to play at his club.
Did you?
In Bel Air. It's called the Vibrato. It is a phenomenal place. If you ever get to Bel Air, it's a phenomenal club. He built it state of the art. It's acoustically phenomenal. The food is great, and the ambiance, energy is great. It's really cool.
Well, our
Top
next
notch.
show should be from there. We'll travel on.
Let's go there. Let's
Let's do
go. I got a chance to meet him actually performing out there, and his wife sings with him all the time.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
right. She was with the Brazil, Brazil '66. It was was one of those. It was like Brazilian jazz outfit back in the day. So wonderful. So we're on the same page with all these wonderful musicians. Well, we're going to take a break right now, and we will be back in a moment for Chapter 2. Well, welcome back. And now with Chapter 2, we've been speaking with Ashley Ulbricht and Blair Clark, who are executives with the new Carmel Jazz Festival, coming August 11th and 12th in Carmel, Indiana. And Ashley, we'll come back to speaking with you about organizing and putting the festival together here in Carmel, and how you just create the event and elements of putting together a festival like this.
Absolutely. It's really exciting. I left the employment with the city of Carmel probably about 2 years ago, a little bit, give or take. And it's been fun working back with the city and using my knowledge with their amazing event planners as with regard to the city's component. And a little bit about that, which is it's always fascinating to me when I was working with the city, was how Mayor Brainerd's team really used economic development to drive people into the city of Carmel. And this is, you check Carmel social media, you talk to anybody here during the summer, Carmel's where you want to be. There's always different events every weekend. So, why our event in August? Why do you want to come to our event? Our event is different than the other events that go on in Carmel because it's specific to jazz music, but it's not. It's we'll have more than music. It is a festival. We expect 15,000 people to descend in the central core of Carmel, all the way from Main Street, Anthony's Chop House restaurant, that location on the Monon. You can walk from there all the way down to City Hall. It's a decent stretch. We expect there to be pop-up musicians, actual dedicated stages, all the way through.
Along the Monon Boulevard.
Along the Monon Boulevard.
That would be beautiful.
So it's going to connect from there through Midtown. And then you're going to arrive to where we are now, the beautiful Feinstein's. And the Hotel Carmichael is going to be hosting events on the weekend, as well as the Palladium, which is right next door. The Tarkington and the Studio Theater. There will be acts. I don't want to say 24/7 because it's not a 24/7 event, but
Sure.
Consistently through the event, every hour there will be an act and musicians playing at all the venues practically at the same time. So it's not just one here, one there, like some festivals do. It's going to be an immersion, but not just with sounds. We also have sights and smells and wonderful things planned for you all to come. Yeah. We have food trucks. We've got just a whole weekend of surprises planned for anybody who descends upon Carmel that weekend.
Well, that sounds fun. I certainly plan to be there.
I hope so. Absolutely.
I will definitely be there.
Yes.
Unless something comes up. But I doubt it.
But with the planning,
you got to do your hair.
Yeah.
Get something, yeah.
But I mean, what I should say with planning, it's been fun coordinating with all the venues, the Center for Performing Arts, the hotel, the city. They've all worked because they all want the people here.
Yes.
And it's highlighting all of these great venues that have come to be over the last decade. And it's going to be alive and an amazing weekend to see that. But it's been, we didn't just wake up one day and decide to have a jazz festival. We've been planning this for almost
about 2-3 years.
I was going to say, at this point.
Years.
So, it's 4 months away.
Yeah.
Well, that sounds fun.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Well, Blair, tell us a little more about, being the founder and some of the goals that you have with the festival and the uniqueness here in Carmel and some of the educational opportunities that you have an interest in developing.
Well, one of the things and to piggyback off of what Ashley's saying is that, the great thing about this is it's a community effort. We've, the collaboration with Feinstein's, Jamie and Feinstein's, Jeff McDermott, and the Palladium, and all of their staff, and all of the city staff and people involved from fire, police. I mean, everybody, utilities. I mean, it takes a village. And so for all of us to be involved and be prepared for all of these people that are going to come to this, it's important for us to set the table.
Yes.
So in setting the table, we want to make sure that we have all of the they feel not only safe, but they're entertained with music and food and all of those things going on, and music, jazz, R&B, a plethora of things going on. But what's really wonderful about this is we want to not only showcase these great events and the state-of-the-art facilities that we have, but we want to fill the hotels. We want to fill the restaurants. We want the people who have brought their businesses here, their restaurants, their wineries, and their different places. We want to hear a report that says, we were staffed up and we broke our record. We've never made this much money or had this many customers come through our door.
Yeah.
Because it's important for us to not only feed the community, feed the people's energy for music, but also to support all the patrons and people that own businesses here in Carmel. Because I've lived here 30 years. I love it here. I want to make sure that everybody prospers from this awesome event, which goes into education in a big way. Ashley was mentioning that she was at the age of 4, she wanted to be a violinist and take on violin. I mean, that's amazing. Yeah. I was blessed to have a little voice to be able to sing, but I remember when I first asked my dad if I could play an instrument, he said, if you can buy one, you can have one. And I'm not going to pay for any, we didn't have money. We came up pretty broke. So one of the things that I see as our mission and our responsibility is to be able to put instruments in the hands of less fortunate children, and also provide opportunities for them to have lessons.
Sure.
An instrument doesn't mean anything if you can't play it.
Nope.
Yeah.
And you got to have someone to mentor you. As a coach, I'm being a coach here in Carmel. I mean, guys, these kids are able to have lessons, and a lot of times the conflict is that, well, they got soccer, and then they've got karate, and then they've got, dance, and then they've got this. I mean, their parents, they're blessed to be able to do all of these things and go to all of these wonderful opportunities and get coached and taught.
Yeah.
I didn't have that. So being able to afford that to students that are less fortunate to not only get an instrument, but also be able to get lessons and learn how to play. Those are our future Wes Montgomerys, our future Mel Tormes and George Bensons. So I think that this is something that's really going to be amazing. Our goal, Lord willing, and you all pray for this, is that we'll be able to find some phenomenal facilities, maybe even some buildings that need some work. We can go in there and fix those buildings up. So the students' parents, a lot of them are in a situation where they can't drive all the way to Carmel.
Yes.
But these kids can ride their bike and ride their bike or walk to a facility that's in their community. So our future goal is to be able to provide a facility in these areas where these less fortunate students are able to go and get their needs met and go into a booth and just play and have people that will donate their time and come and coach them and stuff. So that's my pie in the sky vision.
That's all about exposure too.
Yeah,
'Cause, I mean,
exactly.
you might not even realize, or you might not be exposed to jazz music,
Yeah.
but wow, this is amazing. I want to learn how to do this. How do I do this?
Exactly. And being able to bring some of these, not just the students that are less fortunate, but the students are fortunate, but to bring these young students in the presence of Evelyn Champagne King, Freddie Fox, Spyro Gyra, I mean, some of these great musicians, and ask them questions and be awed by their, I mean, one of the things that I loved when I was a kid growing up was being able to, when I was playing with these bands at 16, the band leader would take us to go see Al Green and Brothers Johnson perform. And I mean, a quick story, I'll tell you. I was dating this girl. She was 16, 17 years old, whatever. And we went to go see Al Green perform because they wanted our band to see what it looks like to be on stage. And the girl, my girlfriend, was so awed by Al Green. He was throwing out roses and everything. And I was getting so jealous because she was just like, ah!
And he starts breaking into Let's Stay Together.
Ooh, yeah. Ah. And so I started realizing, man, I'll tell you what, this is really, you start realizing the power of music, the power of entertainment, and how it can impact young people in many different ways.
Oh, yeah.
So it's pretty cool.
Recorded music is really good, but there's nothing like live music.
Nothing like live
Nothing
music.
like
Live music
live
is
music.
like, it's like
Absolutely.
live stage.
Yeah.
I mean, a recording can invoke emotions, but when you hear it live, it just does something.
It's two different
to you.
things,
Yeah.
really, because
Yeah.
you get the perfection in the recording usually that's going to last with you, and that's what's in your brain. But when you're there, it's just, that's its own.
It is.
And,
really is
and
its
definitely, and for the entertainer, when I'm in the studio, I can stop and start and fix it and
Exactly.
go back and work on things. But man, when you're live, it's from the beginning to the end. It is what it is.
It is.
And the great thing about that is there are some things that come up musically that you don't even know it's going to happen. You're in the music, you're feeling it, everything is jiving, and then all of a sudden you just kind of do something, and it comes off. It's off the cuff. It's natural.
Yeah.
It is.
It's organic. And that's the
Very
thing
much so.
about live music, right? I mean, you experience that.
I do.
It's-
Every time I'm on
it's-
stage.
Exactly. And then when you go, you look at the other guy, and drummer will do something, blah, 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 and you go, hey, you just kind of
then you
feed
feed off of it.
You feed off each other.
Exactly.
Exactly. You start feeding off each other, and then it fuels you to do something, and then so you do something, and it's a great energy. I love it.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it. It's really exciting, and it sounds like your vision is quite a vision, that is going to have more than just a 2-day event. You're going to touch people's lives, particularly young people,
Hopefully.
who will grow in their interest.
That's the goal.
In music. You were going to.
Oh, I was just gonna say, and it's planned to be an annual event. It's not just like a one-off 2023.
Sure.
It's gonna
Well,
come back every year.
That's even better.
Yes.
There we go. In terms of musicians, in musical groups and vocalists, I know that you probably are still getting people, but are there any names that you could tell us for the audience that they may know who will be in the festival?
Well, I think of course, our headliner is Spyro Gyra. It's going to be at the Palladium. We've got some other names. You can go to carmeljazzfest.org, carmeljazzfest.org, and go to the website, and you can see all the acts that will be there. But we've got Evelyn Champagne King, Freddie Fox, Tim Cunningham, Tad Robinson, and we've got some local people. Josh Kaufman. Jenny DeVoe, Brenda Williams. And speaking of Brenda Williams, May 14th, which is Mother's Day, Brenda Williams will be joining me. I am hosting every first Sunday of every month between now and August, a Sunday brunch here at Feinstein's. And my guest is going to be, one of my guests is going to be Brenda Williams. So Mother's Day, Brenda Williams and I will be performing. And she's a phenomenal performer, and she's going to be at the Jazz Fest. Jenny DeVoe will be with me in July, and she's going to be at the Jazz Fest as well. She's awesome. So this is one of the things that I love about what the collaboration. So with Feinstein's, although I'm hosting this jazz brunch and bringing in headliners that are going to be, or musicians that are going to be performing, they're collaborating with us in such a great way. We're just really, really glad to have them with us.
Absolutely.
It's cool.
Well, that's fabulous. Well, thank you both very much.
Thank you for having us.
Well, it's great to have you both here.
It's fun.
And we look forward to your festival and what you have coming up. Well, thank you for being with us today. This week's guests have been Ashley Ulbricht and Blair Clark, who are executives with the new Carmel Jazz Festival, which is going to be here on August 11th and 12th. Thank you, Ashley and Blair.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. And we'd like to thank our sponsor, Hotel Carmichael. We're filming today in Feinstein's at Hotel Carmichael, which will also be one of the venues for the Carmel Jazz Festival. We look forward to being with you again on our next episode of The Omnibus Show.
If you enjoyed this program, please like, share, and subscribe to continue the conversation. For the Omnibus Show newsletter, please sign up at theomnibusshow.com.